for this hour on VTV News. State President begins official visit to Peru. Investment policy for North-South high-speed railway projects submitted. In a world news, U.S. President-elect nominates Fox News host to be Secretary of Defense.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good afternoon. It's currently 3 p.m. local time in Hanoi, and you're watching VTV News. I'm Thuy Linh, bringing you the latest updates. Now on Wednesday morning, Party General Secretary Tô Lâm chaired a meeting with the Socioeconomic Subcommittee of the 14th National Party Congress. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính, head of the subcommittee, led the discussion. The meeting's purpose was to gather opinions and finalize the draft socio-economic report, which the Politburo will review at the end of this month. This report is crucial and must be completed promptly to serve the upcoming party congress. The party general secretary requested that the report further clarify the profound vision for the new era as outlined by the 14th National Party Congress, aligning it with the determination to achieve the centennial goals set for 2030 and 2045. During his official visit to Chile on Tuesday night, Vietnam time, State President Lương Cường visited the University of Chile and delivered a policy speech. He addressed key issues concerning the foundation of the Vietnam-Chile relations, Vietnam's development path and foreign policy, as well as the vision and directions for the friendship and comprehensive partnership between the two countries in the new era.
State President Lương Cường expressed his delight at visiting one of Chile's top universities and a prestigious institution in Latin America. It has trained a large number of prominent scientific and cultural figures, as well as influential leaders, including many presidents of Chile, such as Gabriel Boric, who is now in office. Highlighting the bright prospects for bilateral relations, State President Lương Cường outlined three main areas: the unique similarities between Vietnam and Chile, Vietnam's development path and foreign policy, and the vision for strengthening ties between the two countries in the modern era. He emphasized that Vietnam and Chile have the potential to become a model for South-South cooperation between Southeast Asia and Latin America, built on a solid foundation of over 50 years of relations, historical similarities, and a shared global vision. State President Lương Cường emphasized the importance of fostering collaboration between universities in both countries, viewing it as vital for enhancing mutual understanding, knowledge sharing, and cooperation in innovation.
On Wednesday morning Vietnam time, State President Lương Cường arrived in Lima, starting his official visit to Peru and participation in the 2024 Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation or APEC Leaders Week. The visit, the first of its kind by a Vietnamese state leaders, coincides with the 30th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the two countries. During the visit, State President Lương Cường is expected to hold talks with President Dina Alicia Boluarte Zegara and meet with Peruvian leaders to propose solutions to strengthen political relations, improve cooperation in potential areas, and bring the relationship to a new level. Attending the APEC Leaders Week is also an opportunity for the State President to meet and interact with APEC leaders, including many comprehensive strategic partners of Vietnam, thereby affirming Vietnam's positive role in solving regional and global issues. On Wednesday morning, the National Assembly held a plenary session to review the proposal for the investment policy of the North-South high-speed railway project. The government has proposed constructing a new double-track railway line with a design speed of 315 kilometers per hour and a main line length of approximately 1,441 kilometers. This route will primarily serve passengers while meeting dual-use requirements for national defense and security. It will also have the capacity to transport goods when necessary. The project, with a total investment of more than $67 billion, is expected to start construction in 2027 to complete the entire route by 2035. The government has proposed several specific policies, particularly on selecting the optimal option to integrate high-speed railway line with the existing national railway network and other transport systems. The Vietnamese government is planning to invest in the construction of the North-South high-speed railway with a total investment of more than $67 billion. The project aims to meet a growing transport demand and contribute to the optimal and sustainable restructuring of the country's transportation system. More to follow.
The North-South high-speed railway project was mapped out 15 years ago. At that time, Vietnam's GDP was approximately $147 billion, so the implementation of the high-speed railway project, estimated at $56 billion in total investment. As Vietnam's transport demand grows, and the country's economy is projected to reach over $465 billion this year, the implementation of the high-speed railway project, estimated at $67 billion in total investment, is attainable. During the implementation of the project, the Ministry of Transport will mobilize various capital sources from government bonds, official development assistance or ODA capital, foreign preferential loans and other legal domestic capital sources.
Regarding the midterm public investment from 2021 to 2025, the government will allocate more than $18 million for the preparation process.
The Ministry of Transport will continue to call for investment in commercial areas dedicated to providing transportation for passengers to stations.
The project should meet the target deadline to prevent possible changes in the capital sources and estimated costs for period 2025 to 2035. In addition to the high-speed railway, the government will invest in other projects in the future.
The implementation of the high-speed railway is expected to ensure public debt safety as the total investment is lower than the permissible level by 5 to 15%. With a stronger economic foundation, Vietnam now has the resources needed to support this ambitious project.
Vietnam's digital economy is set to reach $36 billion this year, a 16% increase from last year, according to the E-Economy Southeast Asia 2024 report published by Google, Temasek, and Bain & Company. The e-commerce market remains a key pillar, contributing $22 billion, an 18% increase from the same period last year. Online media and travel sectors contributed $6 billion and $5 billion, respectively. By 2030, the total market value could range from $90 to $200 billion. The report also suggests Vietnam's high growth rate will likely remain stable, supported by the manufacturing and processing sectors. In the third quarter of this year, profits of publicly listed companies on the Vietnam Stock Exchange declined by 0.6% compared to the previous quarter. However, a more substantial shift in the profit landscape emerged when data from financial research firm We Group revealed that the manufacturing sector has now overtaken the financial sector, once a key growth driver for the stock market.
Bank stocks experienced their first decline in profit growth since September last year, with profits falling by over 7% year-on-year. A key factor contributing to this downturn is the shrinking loan interest margin.
Banks have not been able to increase lending rates despite higher deposit rates. Additionally, last year's income from securities investments disappeared this year, and profits from services, particularly insurance, have dropped due to the ongoing trust crisis.
Meanwhile, manufacturing companies reported high profit growth, especially in sectors such as retail, livestock processing, and fertilizer production. Export-oriented businesses continued to benefit from Vietnam's trade surplus, which reached over USD 23.3 billion in 10 months.
The increase in import-export turnover compared to Q2 indicates a significant recovery in the manufacturing sector, reflecting the economic recovery and aligning with the 7.4% GDP growth in Q3.
Supportive policies such as tax cuts, lower interest rates, and debt rescheduling are increasingly playing a vital role in the economy, particularly as the final quarter approaches.
I'm optimistic about domestic consumption in Q4. Government policies to stimulate consumption after a delay are beginning to have a positive impact.
Foreign direct investment, FDI, continued to rise by 8.8% in the first 10 months, while increased public investment disbursement is expected to provide crucial support, allowing businesses in the manufacturing sector to gain momentum in the year-end period.
Now, before we move on to other important updates, let's take a look at the foreign exchange rate of today, November the 13th. Coming up next, enhancing educational standards in the Central Highlands. And advanced technologies applied at Vietnam Military History Museum. Welcome back to VTV News. Storm Toraji is gradually weakening as it enters cold seas. As of 10 a.m. Wednesday morning, the storm's intensity is around level 8 to 9, equivalent to wind speeds of 62 to 88 kilometers per hour, with gusts up to level 11. Over the next 2 days, the storm is forecast to move west-northwest, then shift to a west-southwest direction, continuing to weaken in a tropical depression. By 10 a.m. Friday, the center of the tropical depression is expected to be over the northwestern part of the North East Sea with an intensity of level 6 to 7 and gusts up to level 9. Due to the storm's influence, vessels operating in this area will face strong winds and large waves. In recent years, alongside support from central authorities, local governments in the Central Highlands have implemented a range of initiatives aimed at improving the quality of education for ethnic communities. These efforts have significantly narrowed the education gap between this region and other parts of the country.
In Dak Nong province, over 210,000 USD has been invested in constructing a multi-purpose building, renovating the principal's office, and upgrading 7 classrooms at Hoa Hong Kindergarten. Additionally, the school has built a new stage, installed a canopy, and created a spacious playground for 180 ethnic students enrolled.
Thanks to the party and state support, we have been able to improve our teaching conditions. First, this has helped us build trust with parents. Second, with upgraded facilities, students now have a better learning environment.
Boarding and semi-boarding schools also prioritize providing nutritious meals, which help maintain students' health and support their academic and extracurricular activities.
Our teachers live and share meals with us. They understand our way of life and care about us a lot.
Dak Nong's education sector has placed strong emphasis on recruitment, professional development, and improving teaching methods to implement the 2018 General Education Curriculum set by the Ministry of Education and Training.
Currently, 94.8% of our teachers meet or exceed the standards set by the 2019 Education Law. By 2026, we aim to have 100% of our staff meet or exceed the required standards.
Local authorities in the Central Highlands will continue to review and evaluate the facilities at remote schools, with the goal of consolidating them into main campuses. This will not only help families in sending their children to school, but also streamline the organizational structure of the education sector.
Now, 2 luxury cruise ships carrying more than 4,700 international tourists arrived in Quang Ninh on Tuesday, signaling a positive start to the locality's cruise tourism season. The visitors primarily hail from Europe and the US, which have consistently been Quang Ning's main cruise passenger markets. During the 2-day stay in Quang Ninh, tourists split into groups to explore various attractions, including Hạ Long Bay, Yên Tử, and Quang Ninh Museum, as well as to experience the local culture and cuisine. Hạ Long International Cruise Port is set to welcome about 10 more cruise ships, bringing tens of thousands of international tourists from now until the end of the year. The Vietnam Military History Museum opened to the public in early November. It boasts a vast exhibition area of nearly 65,000 square meters, showcasing more than 150,000 artifacts, including 4 national treasures. To provide visitors with the best experience, the museum has applied cutting-edge technology in projection and sound to enhance interactivity and the experience for all who visit.
With the vivid sound of Vietnam's MiG-21 aircraft number 361 shooting down an American B-52, this group of young people were thrilled to experience for the first time a space that recreated the memories of the Điện Biên Phủ in the Air campaign of 1972. This immersive experience feels authentic thanks to a 3D projection system, touch screens, and virtual reality technology that bring the historic battle to life.
This experience is very different from learning about history through books and pictures. It helps me appreciate and be proud of my national history.
For the Liberation Army tank entering the Independence Palace gates on April 30th, 1975 experience, visitors can wear virtual reality headsets to feel as if they're inside the tank's cabin, witnessing a sacred moment in the country's history.
It feels so real. During the experience, I felt very proud of our soldiers who fought and sacrificed for the country.
The reenactments of our Army's victory in the Low River Battle of 1947, the cannon model scaled to reality, and the battle at Him Lam Hill are all meticulously designed. Each exhibit accurately and vividly portrays specific historical events.
To simulate the MiG-21's space realistically, we 3D scanned the entire interior of the plane and met with Hero Pham Tuan, who operated the MiG-21, to understand the full story. The museum features very large weapons, such as airplanes and tanks, weapons that the public cannot enter. This technology helps visitors gain a better understanding of those weapons and experience how soldiers use them in combat.
To make the digital museum accessible to those who can't visit in person or wish to learn more, the museum employs websites featuring audio, 3D visualization, and QR code scanning technology.
Now, with roads adorned by wildflowers, November is considered the most beautiful month of the year in the Central Highlands. During this time, Chư Đăng Ya volcano, one of the 10 most beautiful craters in the world, attracts many tourists from far and wide. During the 3 main days of the Wild Sunflower Week, Chư Đăng Ya volcano attracted more than 14,000 visitors. The volcano's crater has been inactive for millions of years, creating a majestic landscape. It is also one of the 10 most attractive destinations in Gia Lai province. In the majestic Northwest Mountains and forests, there is a rustic, profound folk song that resonates. It is known as the signature of the Tây people in Văn Bản district, Lào Cai province. It is Khắp Nôm singing. Recognized as a national intangible cultural heritage, Khắp Nôm is not merely a voice of the heart, but also the pride of the Tây people. They continue to pass it on to future generations, preserving the precious identity of their ethnic groups.
Chung Kien began studying Khắp Nôm at the age of 6 and, within 3 years, mastered many of its melodies. He is now a member of the Khắp Nôm Club in Khánh Yên Trung commune. The club's founder and Kien's instructor is Hoàng Thị Quan, an excellent artist renowned for her expertise in this traditional art form.
She taught me how to sing. The songs of Khắp Nôm taught me to be obedient, listen to my parents, and love my homeland.
When you sing, you have to convey the meaning of the song. I'd have to write the words and teach my students what these words are. While I teach singing, I have to teach language as well.
There are three basic forms of performance in khắp nôm: solo, duo, and crowd. Aside from classes for children, with the support of the party committee and the government, Quang has been teaching singing classes for adults since 2012. To sing properly, one needs to understand and convey the meaning of the melody in the Thai language and have good technique.
I have taken 2 courses. It was a bit difficult at first, but now I generally understand it all. I'll study it carefully, then pass it on to my children and grandchildren.
I joined this club at the end of 2022. I hope to be able to sing my songs in the Thai language.
In 2018, Khắp Nôm of Thai people was recognized as a national intangible cultural heritage. Many communes in Van Ban district have established Khắp Nôm clubs.
All 7 villages of Khánh Yên Trung commune have art troupes dedicated to preserving the cultural identity of the Thai ethnic group through Khắp Nôm singing.
The Thai people's khắp nôm singing is a traditional cultural feature that is being preserved very well. It promotes the traditional cultural identity of ethnic groups in Van Ban district.
Van Ban districts has developed policies and projects to preserve and promote the values of Khắp Nôm. The community's consensus, along with government efforts, has contributed to preserving this heritage and passing it on to future generations.
Coming up next on our World News. U.S. President-elect nominates Fox News host to be Secretary of Defense. And global carbon dioxide emissions to hit a record high in 2024. President-elect Donald Trump has announced his nomination of Fox News host Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense. Hegseth, 44, is a former Army National Guard member who served in Afghanistan and Iraq. He joined Fox News as a contributor in 2014 and became co-host of Fox and Friends Weekend in 2017. According to CNN, Trump's choice may stem from his concern about communication with the American public. The nomination requires approval from the U.S. Senate. In a separate announcement, Trump revealed plans for a new Department of Government Efficiency, appointing billionaire Elon Musk to co-lead it. Russia announced on Tuesday that the 2 strategic bombers called Tu-95MS from its aerospace forces conducted a 4-hour training flight over the neutral waters of the Barents Sea, which lies off Russia's northern coast and divides Norwegian territorial waters. In a statement, the Defense Ministry noted that the MiG-31 fighter jets escorted the bombers throughout the 4-hour flight, with all aircraft strictly adhering to international airspace regulations. The ministry emphasized that Russian pilots regularly fly over neutral waters, such as the Arctic, North Atlantic, Black Sea, Baltic Sea, and Pacific Ocean. The Tu-95MS bombers, part of the long-range aviation branch of the Russian aerospace forces, are a key component of Russia's nuclear triad, along with submarines and intercontinental ballistic missiles. A new report released during the UN's COP29 climate summit reveals that global carbon dioxide emissions are projected to reach a record 41.6 billion metric tons in 2024. This increase pushes the world further from its goal of limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. The rise is attributed to emissions from coal burning, as well as oil and gas exploitation and consumption, while emissions from developed industrial countries such as the US and Europe are decreasing. Emissions from emerging economies such as India continue to rise. India is one of the world's leading textile producers with a huge amount of new clothing sold each year. However, consumer perceptions are gradually shifting as more Indian customers are now buying second-hand clothing to reduce their environmental impact. Many fashion brands are also prioritizing natural fabrics and using old stock. More on this to follow.
Neha Butt started selling second-hand clothes many years ago on social media. Thanks to the growing trend of green consumption, her business has flourished. By 2022, the 33-year-old entrepreneur was able to open a brick-and-mortar store in New Delhi, India's capital city.
With the whole climate awareness, the youngsters are very much aware of what it is, and thrifting as a plays a part in their lives, so that even if it's like second hand, even if it's surplus goods, they are like, okay.
Second-hand clothing markets in New Delhi are bustling with shoppers. Besides saving money, environmental concerns are also one of the main reasons many people come here to shop.
I often go to markets like this to shop. There are many items with different styles to choose from. Although this may seem like a small gesture, I think buying used clothing will contribute to protecting the environment.
Many fashion designers and clothing brands in India are also embracing the green fashion trend. Founded in 2012, Doodlage is a brand that specializes in manufacturing and selling clothes and bags made from defective fabric scraps discarded by factories.
Innovate on the material that already exists. So you're not disintegrating it into new material, you're not going back in process or heavy industrial processes to convert this into a new material.
Many environmentalists hope that these changes in consumer behavior and fashion brand practices will help spread a green lifestyle throughout Indian communities and businesses. They also hope this shift will gradually reduce the fashion industry's environmental impact.
And up next is the weather forecast. And that's the end of VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can download VTVgo from App Store or Google Play, or visit our YouTube channel, VTV4Go. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.